You're talking about fiat currencies, and all fiat currencies have eventually failed. So let's sort of step back from the markets a little bit and take some big picture look at, the international financial scene. Yeah, how do you see things playing out here? Do you feel that the dollar is, its days are numbered?
Well, I do, for the simple reason that I sort of look at things mathematically. And when I look at the U.S. budget deficit, for example, you've reached the stage now where expenditures are twice as much as revenues. They're taking in less than 50% than what they're spending. Any time you've seen that in history, that means you've gone past the point of no return. So I find these debates about, how much spending cuts they're going to have or tax rises to sort of deal with this budget deficit problem to be kind of fatuous, because I think they really have reached the stage that they can do nothing but monetize the debt because they can't correct it. If they were to do the kind of austerity program necessary to bring the lines closer together, they would crater the economy, which would end up causing the deficit to widen again anyways. So yeah, I think that the dollar is in its death throes. That's a big statement because it's been the reserve currency certainly for most of this century, but most certainly since the Second World War.
Yeah.
This is a major change going on.
But isn't the economy going to collapse anyway if they continue on this road of spending and more debt?
I couldn't agree more. I think the problem is that whether you want to take sort of a form of hyperinflation first before you clean the system out, or whether the politicians have the courage to sort of do what is necessary now in an austerity thing. If you have to have an opinion, my opinion is they do not have the courage to do that, and as a result we will endure some form of hyperinflation before we reach that state.
In other words, it's only the crisis that will cause the politicians to do the right thing?
Yes.
And hopefully they will do the right thing and not the wrong thing when the crisis occurs.
Well, at that point, there's really only one thing you can do. You have to sort of change the whole currency situation. Even in Zimbabwe, they got away from it. They quit printing trillions and trillions of dollars of their own currency. They went using foreign currencies as an alternative, and they seem to have addressed the problem. Mm-hmm. When you've got the reserve currency of the world undergoing a similar type experience, this is going to be a unique experience because I guess we've never really had a situation like that. Most hyperinflations have taken place in secondary currencies. One of the great stories, obviously, was the post-World War I Germany experience. And if you've read about that, it was truly horrifying. I sincerely hope we don't have to go through anything like that.
Mm. How can we avoid that, though, given the road that we're on? The head of the Reichsbank, Dr. Havenstein, basically says the same thing that Mr. Bernanke does, that he has to keep printing and because the economy has to keep going with more money.
I was afraid you were going to say that. I wish I could give some optimistic response, but I'm afraid, I am in the camp that thinks we are headed for some form of hyperinflation. And that's why I've been so pro gold and silver for a long time, because this isn't something that snuck up on us. You could see it building. It started a long time ago. It's just like everything else. It starts slowly and then it starts to pick up speed. And as you mentioned, Mr. Bernanke's actions and statements to me are beyond belief for a guy who's obviously got a high IQ. I don't know where he's coming from.
Yeah. Do you think he really believes what he's saying, or he's saying to try to keep the system going and doesn't want to be, the captain of the ship when it sinks?
I believe the latter. I think he's a very intelligent guy, and a very intelligent guy can see what's happening.
So in some respect, it's like the politicians who don't want the ship to go down during their watch. They're trying to just keep it together until the next guy has to worry about the problem.
I think that's almost the case through the whole U.S. government. Some of Tim Geithner's comments as Secretary of the Treasury, are staggeringly ignorant unless you realize it's more being done for confidence than it is stating any sort of form of reality.
The propaganda effect, what
Absolutely.
Bernanke talks about controlling inflationary expectations, thinking that that's going to stop inflation even while he's building up the money supply by creating new currency, by buying U.S. government debt on the other side of the equation.
Oh, it's amazing. The fact that inflationary expectations are stable. Well, I'm not sure. Yeah, if you have to buy an iPad every day, I guess they are stable. But on the other hand, if you're buying food and energy, it's becoming apparent to the average citizen that things are getting pretty tight. Their budgets are getting really stretched. So it's starting now.
And even more so in the third world, where food and energy are a higher percentage
Absolutely.
of one's income.
And they're being more honest about it. The third world is admitting, that they have an inflation problem. And the one place on earth that seems to deny it totally is North America, and particularly the United States. And this allows them to continue with zero-based interest rates, which are sort of part of the problem, really, but then part of the solution.
Yeah.